So I want to show you one of the most powerful ways of being able to get more attention in 2025 moving into 2026. It is the automated profile funnel. I've seen this used for B2B, I've seen this used for online coaches and consultants, but here's a really cool trick. It's actually going to be used now for B2C businesses looking to grow their local business in order to get more customers, get more leads, and here's why. So, the one of the main things is if you've ever run ads, you know that you can generate traffic, it'll go directly to a lead form, and then you try to close them. But it is missing one key step. It's this. It's this particular part. Here's how I know this. I've been running an SMMA for 2.5 years, almost three, for the gym niche. And one of the things we ran into is just the low trust environment that creates when you try to go directly from cold targeted audience to direct sale. And when you're trying to sell a cold audience, you'll get things like, I didn't mean to put my information in. That's not me. Can you call me later? They might book and then they don't show up on the back end. And so one of the things we tried implementing is we're like, you know what? We need to get more warm. We need to get people a little bit more indoctrinated into the process, get them to have a bit more of an affinity toward the business or the person so that there's a little bit more of a relationship that's being built and a little bit more trust. And so that's one of the reasons why in this process, you're going to have a way to generate traffic. You're going to have a way in order to nurture the people and the relationships. You're going to have a sales mechanism, and then obviously you're going to be delivering a service. And so when you have this 4-step process and it initiates basically with, if you're a local business, one well scripted ad. We take this and we push it into the social media uh, universe, and Instagram. And here's the thing, more and more people are spending time on social media than watching TV now than ever. And so if you could have one specially made ad on Instagram, and it's what's called a top of funnel ad. The main difference is, here's an example. Let's say I went to a coffee shop and I went up to a complete stranger and said, hey, I have these Nivea for dry lips. Do you want to buy 17? You're like, no, who are you? Exactly. So if you're running ads and you're running a direct offer ad to a community that doesn't know you, one of the main issues is you're like, who are you? I don't really need this. You're speaking to the wrong audience. Whereas the difference when you're having a top of funnel ad, the main thing is we're getting the business introduced to a brand new audience. And so what does this do? It basically, like, let's say you go to a party and you have a bunch of people that you don't really know, and you start talking to people, shaking hands, meeting them. You're like, so who are you? What do you do? How do you know John? He's, it's like, oh yeah, he's a buddy of mine from college. Oh, okay, so you know him from school. Cool. And so you're doing a light intro. And then they go, what do you do? It's like, oh, well, I'm a personal trainer. Oh, well, I own an HVAC company. Or, oh, it's like, oh, you own an HVAC company. Oh, me and my wife are actually looking up, our furnace just went out. We saw that heat pumps were a new way and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, well, actually, and then you can kind of talk a little bit after that. And so if you think about the normal way humans meet each other, get introduced, get warm, and then build deeper connections, it's one of those things where you can't really skip the process. And so for us, we've been running ads, and it's basically just a direct offer ad straight to an audience and trying to get them to buy. And the trust is really low. But once we started implementing this nurture sequence, it started to definitely get better quality leads. The second thing is you just can tell the level of interest someone has if they show up, if they book an appointment, if they have deeper conversations, if they need to cancel, they don't ghost you, and if they need to cancel and reschedule, they're very open to rescheduling. And so when you do it this way, you're absolutely going to be able to close more deals, get more people from the top end. And so let me walk you through a little bit about how this works. First, we're going to take a video, highly scripted, with the hook, with the body that calls out your audience and shows them what you do and how you do it. And then a soft call to action, which is just follow our page, right? So the main idea is the goal of this video is to introduce the business, and the call to action is simply to get them to follow the page, okay? And so we're getting all this traffic here. Then next, on your social media, you're going to be posting stories through the day. So think of these as behind the scenes, short form content for, like, I kind of call this BTS or a day in the life or testimonials. And if you're doing something like me right now, with which this is basically long form content. So this is where you can shoot long form content if you're a online business, right? So we're basically an online business. And then as you're shooting all of this and you have all these people seeing your page, one of the coolest things that will begin to happen is you're going to get followers. And so you do two things when you get followers. One is you start to run a retargeting ad with an offer. So this retargeting ad that has an offer in it is basically trying to redirect people through this process. So before, we would run an offer ad straight to people. So we basically go generate traffic, go direct to sales. The main difference here is that we go generate traffic. They have to watch video of you. They could lurk around, which people will naturally do. They get retargeted here with a middle of funnel ad. And then we have two options of what we can do. We can either, if they see the ad, they put their information in. That's a warm inbound. Inbound is where they put the information in. And then followers who follow from the video, they see our page, they become a follower, they start lurking, we start getting more eyeballs, and then all of a sudden what begins to happen? We grow our followers, and then we have a DM conversation, and this is where we're going to put an appointment setter here. And then the appointment setter will book an appointment, and then they'll book an appointment, they'll book you sales meetings, and then once they book sales meetings, you will close them, and then you will begin to onboard them. So this is an amazing, amazing process and system. And so one of the things that we've been doing with our clients and our own funnel as well is using this to generate more B2B leads, more B2C leads as well. And it's super powerful. It's not really well implemented yet in the B2C space. But other than that, hopefully you learned something from this. And if you want more information on how to do this for yourself, hit us up. Our name's Peak Digital Systems. My Instagram is Brandon Long Growth, and you have a good day. Peace.